is Dallas Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Well, it was obviously a tough game across the board. I've always been curious, is there a ritual that you have that gets you over losing or allows you to take your focus off of losing for half a second?
Not really. It's it's always a tough pill to swallow, especially when when you were thinking you had a good shot to win it, and you just got to get in there and grind through it and see all the things that we need to do to get better. I think it's a really good wake-up call for us, and you just you got to put it in the rear view mirror come Tuesday and Wednesday, and then you back on to we're going to have a huge challenge here in front of us that'll have his team well prepared, and Coach Belichick. So we just got to really take a look at the film and learn from it, and go from there. I mean, hats off to the Cardinals. They were really prepared. I mean, obviously their coach has had a lot of experience with us. Hats off to him and his team. They had a really good game plan for us and executed and kicked our butt.
When you talk about the Cardinals being prepared with all the penalties in the first half, falling behind, was there any part of you that felt like perhaps yesterday the Cowboys were not prepared for this game?
It's just, we did things that get you beat. I mean, we gave up big plays. And then when we did give up the big plays, unfortunately, we didn't respond. And, rather than holding them, in the red zone and holding them to field goals, they were able to, finish it off with touchdowns. And, it's just a bad mix, there to give up the big plays and then allow them to get in. We were able to get them in the red zone, but weren't able to stop them. And then, of course, on offense, it was the opposite for us. We were able to put together some good drives, and, I thought we executed well up until we got in the red zone. And obviously this year we hadn't been able to make the plays to, get the touchdowns once we're in those red zones. I thought we responded well with, having the three linemen out. I thought our guys that, played stepped up and played well. We just got to execute in the red zone. And as you said, I mean, anytime you have double-digit penalties, you're putting yourself in a very difficult position. And, we've done a good job this year so far up until this game of cutting back, really improving on the penalties. And, obviously protecting the ball, have protected her well up until the end. But, we just didn't do what it took to win the ball game.
Speaking of that red zone specifically, what do you think is the biggest factor that's keeping this team from putting one in the end zone whenever they need to? And do you think Mike McCarthy has a solution for that right now?
Well, I'm sure he does. I mean, Mike's been in this league a long time, and I know, we'll certainly take a look at this. We're getting ready to go into meetings here shortly, and, we'll get a good feel for where we think we're coming up short. That put us in hard positions, whether it's a, second and long, third and long. Those are tough to execute in the red zone, and just got to be better than that. I'm sure Mike and Coach Shoddy will go to work on that and help us out.
Now, the other thing, too, is you guys did invest, your top draft pick in the run game. Y'all wanted to stop there in the middle, but the Cardinals had a plan. They did run a lot yesterday. Kevin was actually very concerned going into the game. He was concerned about the running game. What do you feel about what you saw there, and can that be fixed, or is it kind of the same feeling as what we kind of were going through a little bit last year?
No, I think it's, the big thing is they had, several big runs that really added to the equation and, the big plays, and obviously that hurt us. I mean, had the big run right out of the bat, right out of the starting gates with the quarterback, and then, they had a nice, well-designed play to their receiver. That was a long run, and then, of course, Connor broke a couple long ones, so those are things we've just got to cut out. If we can cut out the big plays, then obviously we put ourselves in a better position to have success. But we've also, if you do give up the big one, you do got to be able to get down there in the red zone and keep them out of the end zone. And we didn't do a good job of that either yesterday.
Do you know offhand if Tyler Smith could have played left tackle yesterday, and instead of going with the Idoga out at left tackle?
Yeah, I mean, Tyler, he played most of the year at left tackle last year, so he's very capable of going out there. I just think the guys felt like, it happened late in the week, and Chuma had been out there working, and Tyler was just getting back and working at guard, and we felt, what the combination that gave us the best opportunity was the way, that we lined them up out there. So, and like I said, I think the guys responded well. I don't think that was the issue. I mean, you always, your eyes water a little bit when you're losing, 3 of your offensive linemen, and, Tyler had been out, the previous 2 weeks, so it was his first start out of the bag. But, as it turned out, I thought the guys played really well.
I might just be a prisoner of the moment. Does it feel like there's been more injuries in practice for the Cowboys than in a typical season, or is this just the way NFL go?
I just think it's the way the NFL goes. I mean, I agree with you. It feels like, we've had some situations in practice, in the offensive line in particular, but of course we had the Diggs situation. And, I'll say this, I think Mike stays on top of practice and the workloads and protecting the players and getting our guys ready to play from a physical standpoint as well as anybody I've ever seen. So, I don't think it's a situation where we're, leaving it on the practice field before you play the game. I think Mike does a great job, getting them the reps, but also not overdoing it. So, it's sometimes you just, have situations where you have some bad luck, but hopefully we're going to work through that. Other than the Diggs situation, it feels like we'll get most of these guys back in fairly quick order. And, it will be nice. Nobody's making any excuses, but it will be nice to finally we can get all 5 of our 5 starting offensive linemen to get to play together. That's a huge plus, but it's certainly no excuse. I think our guys from TJ Bass to Chuma, our centers, they're all stepping up when they need to step up. And, that's part of it. Everybody in the NFL are having challenges with injuries. So it's not something that's just happening to us. It's around the league, and that's part of the journey. When you play 17 games, is you got to have next man up and guys step up. And I think our guys yesterday did a nice job.
You said hopefully soon. I know, always tough on a Monday. Do you think it's possible that Biotish, Tyron, and Zach Martin could all be back for the Patriots game?
It's possible, but, we'll just have to see how the week goes. I mean, this is something where, with Tyler, obviously, he beat the timeline. I mean, they were thinking initially that might be 3 to 4 weeks. You just got to take each guy week to week. We all know how Zach Martin is. He rarely misses anything. He's always available, and Tyron's working through some things with the knee. But all of those things are things that we'll just have to monitor as the week goes. Is it possible? Yes. Do we know for sure? Absolutely not.
Steven, when a center is out like Biotish, how much more responsibility does that put on Dak, making sure that the offensive line knows what they're doing pre-snap?
I think it's more. I mean, he's obviously going to help a rookie center like we had yesterday. He's going to help him more, need to help him more. But I thought he did a good job in there. I thought both of them did a good job. And, we seemed to drive the ball and had good drives, good time of possession. And unfortunately, we just didn't finish them. We had obviously we went for it twice on 4th down there. That probably would have been chip shot field goals. But, we were in situations in both of those where we felt like we needed, touchdowns rather than field goals, and understand the call there. But, like I said, I think we drove the ball well. We just got to execute in the red zone on offense. And, I think that'll be something that we will improve on. Mike's obviously a seasoned veteran play caller, and Coach Schotty's done a great job. So I have no doubt that we will improve as we move forward. And, I just think, hats off to the Cardinals. They had a good game plan coming in there, and that coach, their head coach, has experience with us, and have to give him credit.
There were a couple of good runs from Dak yesterday. A couple of moments where where he did get out and get loose, and he took advantage of that. And I think everybody still kind of holds their breath a little bit just because we're all scarred by it. But when there are moments that I'm kind of like, man, I wish he would be more decisive and going ahead and taking off and doing this. And I just wonder from y'all's perspective, is he still a little maybe gun shy about getting out there and having something like that happen? I mean, it was a pretty gruesome injury.
Yeah, I don't think he's gun shy at all. I just think he's playing smart. And if there's situations there where he can, take advantage of it and have success and move the chains. And, for the most part, we want him to get down. I mean, you look around the league and quarterbacks who, you run the ball enough, eventually it's going to work against you. And, certainly we're always wanting, Dak to be smart about it. And I think that's what he's doing. But I can tell you the last thing Dak Prescott is gun shy.
Did you also feel
he wants to play smart?
Yeah. Did you also kind of feel like Diggs is a big part of the game plan? You have a cornerback out there that takes up a large portion of the field. How much did you feel like you missed him out there on Sunday?
Well, he's a great player, but I thought Bland stepped up and did a nice job, and he's only going to get better. You got to remember he practiced at nickel all training camp, knowing that we didn't think Jordan Lewis was going to be back, would probably be a pup guy. And hats off to Jordan for the hard work he put in to get himself ready. But, I thought once Bland got in the groove out there, he did a really nice job. And it was a tough pass interference call. We all know, those things can be called, about any time. And it's just the luck of the draw when you finally get a flag, because it's a physical game and those receivers and corners are fighting one another. And, I thought that was a tough call, but I thought Bland really stepped up and did a nice job. But anytime you miss an all-pro, Pro Bowl player like you're going to miss a player like Diggs. And that's why we, paid him a lot of money, because we think he makes a difference out there. But at the same time, I thought Bland and Jordan Lewis really stepped up for us yesterday.
I know we had the opportunity to talk about the run defense a little bit earlier in this interview. I was kind of curious. Rondale Moore broke off a big one. Obviously, so did Dobbs, so did Connor. Were you surprised, or is there anything alarming about multiple different players being able to hit big plays against this run defense?
No, I think those are all things that are very that are fixable, and I thought we did a good job adjusting. I thought we played a really strong second half, other than the one big play, that they hit where we let a player get loose on us and didn't have him accounted for. And, I thought Hooker did a nice job of slow playing him and finally getting him down. But unfortunately, we didn't make the plays that we needed to make to hold them to a field goal there. And but other than that, I thought we made some good adjustments in the second half. And, their quarterback's a smart guy. We played against him in Tennessee last year, and he knows you've got to get rid of it quick, and he did a good job of that, and thought he executed well. You got to give him credit.
The Dolphins scored 70 points yesterday. Is that like an unwritten code in the NFL that you don't do that, or is it just, hey, man, that's just part of competing?
I think that's part of competing, and, they got hot, and unfortunately the Broncos, from what you could see in the highlights, turned the ball over. And, when you start turning that ball over, points can add up quick, especially when things start rolling against you. But we all know what we think of Sean Payton. I know he'll get his team, and they'll respond. And, that's obviously gets everybody's attention when you see that, because it rarely happens. But, I give the Dolphins credit for the skill sets they put together on offense, but I know Sean Payton well enough, what a competitor he is, that his team will respond.
Appreciate the insight as always, good sir. We'll catch up with you for better or worse next Monday.
Sounds good, guys. Always good being on with you.